Hey everyone, you're watching GT Sam. I'm Sam, and it's time to work on one of my favorite maintenance items on a car, and that is the transmissions. Yes, we are going to be diving deep into my Acura TL and taking out the old transmission fluid and putting fresh, brand new OEM fluid in. On the way, I'm going to show you and tell you about how to replace the components as well that are vitally important, such as the filter, the gaskets, the washers, and the spring inside itself. Now, this job takes me about 45 minutes right now because I'm so experienced, done so long. But for first timers, it might take you a few hours. So take it slow, take it easy, and really think about what you're doing. But it's totally worth it in the end, and it could totally revive your transmission, especially on Acura TL. So let's go dive into it right now. Well, some of the symptoms, the things you gotta look out for. Well, when you know you have to change your fluid.
Things always on a clean cut and knowing when you got to work on a transmission. So here's some ideas for you. One, fluid. Now with that, I'm gonna make sure it is clean, and clean as in red or bright pink. So it's more of a red tint. So for Acuras, that's what they're gonna be like, in Hondas. So when you take your fluid out and check the dipstick, you wanna actually smell it a little bit. Don't get on your face or anything like that. Does it smell burnt? Does it smell like burning metal or anything like that? You know it's time. Does it look dark brown as well? Black? Yeah, you're in trouble. So you have that, and then you also want to make sure the fluid level is correct. And you have to check it when it's hot after it's been running too, because you have to check the level on the dipstick. It will show you where hot and cold. Another thing is too, is that this is a filter for inside the housing down below here. And we'll show you where that is in a little while. But you see how red this is and beautiful and vibrant? Well, as you've seen in some of my previous videos like this one, you'll be able to tell that these do not get replaced. This is not a repair item on the list for however many miles go by that Acura is like, let's change it. No, they don't. So this is something to keep up with. I do these about every 40 to 50,000 miles. And I think I'm a little bit over on this car. I hate to admit it, but now I'm gonna change it. OEM only, I'm leaving the part number down below for that. But also we have inside, we got 2 washers, and then we're gonna have a spring inside there too to provide the tension, and you have 2 gaskets. Now those definitely dry out and rot, so you want those replaced as well. All these parts will be shown in the video and then also listed down below in the comment section in the description. So if you need that, you definitely look at it and order it up. And always, never least or last, the fluid. You always know I'm talking about this stuff right here. ATF DW1. This is the stuff you need for specific Acura and Honda models. My Acura is 2004, so a lot of models can be able to handle this. But if you're getting a newer one, no. If you have CVT, no, this is not the fluid for you. You gotta check your owner's manual, you gotta check with Acura and Honda itself to see what fluid you need. You can screw up your engine and transmission, mostly transmission of course, if you get the wrong fluid. So be cautious about that. Some of the signs and symptoms of some problems then, besides looking at the fluid and smelling it, you have to go off what you see inside and you feel when you're driving. When you're driving, are you feeling any like harsh shifting, any bucking, any hard downshifting and then when it's automatically slowing down? Or are you staying like in a higher rev range when you're driving along? Say you're going down the highway, you're about 55 miles an hour, 60, it's kind of hanging in like 4th gear, and it's not going to 5th very quickly or easily. When it does go to another gear, it does go like kind of shift like that. Well, that's one thing right there. Is any of your codes that are coming on for check-in, like pertaining to transmission, check that as well. Is your flashing little green light next to the D symbol on your driver settings for your transmission flashing? Check that as well. Is the transmission searching around for gears when you are driving in automatic mode? Well, there you go as well, probably. So what does my fluid look like? Well, let's check it out and find out.
So what are symptoms my car is doing? Well, it's doing a little bit of a hang in the gears, like I'll be accelerating on the highway, and then I'll pull my foot off the gas, and I'll be in my full gear, let's say. Then it was kind of hang and then go boop, like dropping RPMs, and like then the transmission was kind of hit and just kind of hang there and not be just very smooth and gentle and like shift nicely into 5th gear and then overdrive. Not like a knock or a hit, like low and knocking in or something like that. It's not like that. No, you can definitely feel it with the transmission. So that's one of the issues. And then of course filter is dirty probably, and then we know the fluid is dirty as well, and it's been a long time. Not gonna deny, I drive this car, well, spiritedly. Not hard, spiritedly. So it's time to just do this. So now that we know some of the symptoms we gotta watch out for and the parts that you're gonna need, let's jump right into the fun here and start taking apart the car.
We are at where the transmission filter is. So what we have is, this is the housing for it. This is your grounding cable. This is the line feeding in. Banjo bolt right here, you're going to have to get out. Few of the lines. So you can see right back there, I have a zip tie holding 2 lines in place. That's just for a little security measure there, just in case. But we're going to go ahead and get all this stuff out. So first off, what we're going to do is go ahead, get the grounding cable out of the way. Just a 10mm right there. As I lose that so nicely. And make sure you have something down below where you're working too, because you're going to leak out some fluid here, and that's okay. So next we're going to go ahead and get the banjo bolt off right in front there. Get your wrench. You're going to have a 17mm. Remember, you're going to be going the opposite way because you're facing, well, not the right way. When you take this bolt off, but there's also going to be 2 washers, one on the front there and one on the end of this banjo bolt. This fluid is coming out too. Alright, put that aside, put that aside. Make sure it's nice and clean. Don't lose your washer in case you're not replacing it, but I recommend you replacing it if this is going to be one of your first times. Yep, so the washer actually just fell out, so. Alright, get your nice flathead right here. Split this plastic. There we go. Have a lot more play. And also for the banjo bolt where it sits, you can just kind of pull this up out of the way, just like so. Don't go too crazy, I don't want to break anything, but it's able to be a little bit flexible. Getting those 10mm out of the way. I just use a good old 10. All the bolts are off. So you have a little crack here now, good. You might be able to pull it, or you might have to use a little bit of a screwdriver, but look at that. Look at me. Pull it out and prepare for the flow. Ooh, juicy. Oh, man. Wow, I really let my Acura go, didn't I? As you can see, brown on brown on brown. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's, well, you can see it's dark. There's really no light of day to that one. It's better than what I've seen before, but still it's not great. So let's get that out of there. Now on the inside here, there's a spring. Go ahead, reach in there, take it out. There it is. So what this spring is all about is, it's just for the filter. A little tension and spring back for the front cap there. So you need to put this in right back with the filter there. So I'm just gonna go ahead, clean it up here a little bit, real quick. There you go. Like I said before, remember, I won't recommend replacing your gasket if you haven't done it yet, but I have. So I'm going to go ahead and reuse mine. Go ahead, put that right in the top of my filter here. Nice. The cover here is a gasket right around the edge here. You're going to replace that too. Now to line this back up, there's going to be a little notch. You can see right on top here. So the notch there with the white mark is going to line up with the top notch there. That's how you know, that's how it goes back on. Let's go ahead and put that back. Yep, start lining up as best you can, evenly. Make sure you don't get your line stuck in there. Alright, so kind of grip them to front. You can use the housing to kind of push around and pull around. There we go. It's in there pretty good. So you can kind of turn and line it up. I'm going to take my bolts. I'm going to start putting those in. And eventually I'm going to go from each corner to corner. And I'm going to get it all tightened down equally. And again, these are just 10mm bolts. You don't need to go ham on them, but they're nice and tight. You have 2 washers. So one's going to go on the inside, one's going to go on the outside. This little bracket here. Move this down. Washer for in front and back. Go ahead and pull up on the bracket while pushing the bolt through. Washer in place. And then the bolt kind of grabs onto it. And you can kind of slide it down into place. gonna tighten by hand. We got this nice plasticky hose right there. You can hang out. Then we got our 10mm for our grounding wire. That is all set. It's time to do fill.
All right, time to go down to where the drain bolt is. So as you can see, located right here, right behind the subframe on the driver's side. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my 3/8 engineer wrench in here. Or you could also use a small breaker bar like I am doing. This works too. It's got a little pop that loose. It's not too tight, but I just want to make sure I do this right the first time. Now it's going to spray out a little bit on you, so make sure you got a nice wide area for your catch pan. And then also this is going to have a magnet on the end of it. If it doesn't, well, that's just odd. But it does, so go ahead, when you get that out, make sure you wipe and clean that off, and then we can go ahead and reinsert that. When you're reinstalling the drain bolt, please do not over torque this. As the last thing you need is to have a stripped or broken off drain bolt in the bottom of your transmission. Torque spec on this is going to be about 36 pound-feet of torque.
Oh, but what do we do now? We gotta fill it up. Ah, great question. I'm glad you asked. So, right down there is a bolt that literally says on top of it, ATF. That is your fill plug, all the way in the top of the transmission. So like right over here, we were just right here. You go over here, that's where it is. So if you look on the top of the engine, right behind your intake, your air intake, your throttle body, go straight back and down, that's where it is. So you're gonna need extensions, and you're gonna need a breaker bar. This is a 17mm bolt, use impact rated, because this is a tough nut to crack. And so, make sure you're on there nice and tight. You'll get on there. You definitely want to strip this bolt, and if you don't get it off, well, you're in a world of hurt. All right, once you're solidly on there, hold tight and pull. And it's gonna sound like it's gonna snap, but you're okay. Oh yeah! Ow! Just like that. Scratch my finger, yo. Kind of see it, but it says ATF right on top. You can see mine's starting to get a little buggered up, but still got good grip. And there's a washer on the bottom of here, so make sure you don't lose that. Be careful, and it doesn't slide off. So get that as well. My huge funnel should go nicely over to there. Yep. So this will take about 3.5 quarts. Put all this in there, so I'm gonna have just enough for that. Make sure you don't overfill and overspill to the bottom there. But otherwise, it should be pretty good to go.
Of course, if you don't have a long funnel like I do, then you can just go ahead while everything's removed, have a shorter one, put into the fill port, and then you'll be able to fill the fluid right there. Maybe a little bit easier for you.
Got the bolt back in. And then go ahead, put this on top. Locked in, get a little snugness. Okay, that's good. Gotta know your limits though, because, well, this is on top of the transmission. Everything's back together. Let's go ahead and get this on the ground, start it up, drive it, see how it does.
I don't have to tell everybody. The proof's in the pudding on this one. And the pudding is transmission fluid and filter. Yes, they also look like chocolate pudding. But I'm always amazed on how such a simple maintenance item can go ahead and change and transform the feel of the vehicle. And for this, absolutely, every single time. And now we took out the dirty stuff, put the new stuff in, driving on the back roads, it was a thrill once again. I am so happy because I love this car, I love taking care of it and driving it all the time. And now it's back, and I'm thrilled about this. So I highly recommend that you do it, especially on these Acura TLs, to completely bring the longevity out of them as you can. It's a wear item. It's just like oil and oil filter. They're a wear item and they need to be done. So guys, what do you think about this video? And if you have any comments or questions about this whole thing, please, one of my favorite things to talk about and do on a car, so leave a comment and questions down below. I love to talk about it and see what you think about this. And if you have any problems, go ahead, contact me as well. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up right there, and make sure you subscribe down below for more video content quite like this and even more. But guys, thank you so much for watching. This is GT Sam. I'm gonna catch you next time. Let's get the heck out of here. I'm hungry.